ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Man, I didn't realize the tail end ran that long. I was just kind of sitting there like, okay, I forgot to start on Instagram. We're live on Instagram. We're live on Twitter. We're live on Facebook, which for some reason can't integrate Instagram, so I got to do it on my phone. We're live on YouTube. I'm James. Tell him your name, Zach.
But you already did. It's your boy.
Oh.
I'm Zack.
You're right. I guess that kind of kills the point if I say your name for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Damn, I'm going to have to figure out this whole, desk setup. We got a bunch of people in chat. We got Joe in the chat. We got Dom in the chat. Dom, dude, how's it going? Good to see everybody today. We got a ton of football news to get into right off the bat, including, what might be one of the biggest turning points for, something going into the draft. Wow. But I guess let's start off with the whole Dan Snyder thing, right? Being a legitimate white-collar criminal. Mr. Stealing Money. Mr. Embezzle Funds.
So bad. It is so bad. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, I what was I doing the other day? I forget, but I was sitting down, I saw that come across my screen, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. That plays.
It shouldn't shock anyone, right? That's kind of who we thought Dan Snyder was.
Right, exactly. I mean, that is exactly who we thought he was. We kind of knew something like this was coming, and it was in the works. The extent of it, though, is mind-boggling, James. Mind-boggling.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. What was it, too? It was something about, putting the logo on.
You're talking about the logo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dan Snyder, the owner of the Washington Commanders, charged his own franchise $4.5 million, $4.5 million, James, to put their logo on his private jet.
That's actually.
Meanwhile, and I had something directly, something that I can directly compare this to, as Robert Kraft bought his team 2 jets with his own money.
Yeah, but hasn't he kind of done everything with his own money? Wasn't Foxborough Stadium? Wasn't oh my God, Gillette? I couldn't think of the name Gillette. Wasn't that his own money too? He's not a whole I'm not making taxpayers do anything.
Well, yeah, yes, but I mean, it's both ends of the spectrum. He took out a $55 million loan without the approval of his board of directors.
I love it. I mean, I don't love it. I want it to be like an ESPN 30 for 30, but I love the energy of it.
He was like, yeah, so I'm gonna take out this loan, and they're like, no, you're not. And he's like, but yeah, though, I am, but it's gonna happen though. $55 million is not it's just gonna appear.
Speaking of Washington, our favorite Washington fan Joe from overseas says, "Gotta love Dan Snyder, the absolute scumbag, better than bald prick Bezos." So for now, I guess, I don't even know for now. What's better, embezzling or whatever Jeff Bezos is up to that we haven't discovered yet?
Yeah, I mean, definitely would rather go with the known than the unknown at that point, but not good. It's not good when you want your team to be good. That's for sure.
We're already talking about money, so I think we just roll it right into some of the new cap casualties, and most of these, honestly, aren't really surprising.
Not really.
I think the biggest. No, I'm not going to say the biggest name, but I'm going to say one of the bigger names to come out of it was Leonard Fournette, who recently agreed to a new 3-year deal and is now I don't want it. The mutual cut, which I didn't realize until today. Leonard Fournette.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was mutual, or he might have asked for it, and they were just sure. But
I mean,
emergence of Rashad.
Yeah. I mean, Devin Singletary is about to join their team. What did I say? What was going to happen, Jason? What did I say, boy? What did I say?
You got to listen to Soggy, boy. You got to listen. Yeah. He speaks, and he says a lot of things. I'm right.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's just that's the noise of Sog. Continue, please. Help.
Ew. So
please save me for myself.
On the note of Washington, Carson Wentz, not shocked. That's $26 million they're saving. Bobby McCain also gets cut. I didn't quite understand that one. I'm sure there's more thoughts from an inside perspective, but relatively older. But he was a starting. Oh, hold that comment on Instagram. He was their starting slot. I thought. I don't know. Once again, this is not my team, but what I understand.
I don't know if there's anything to really understand there. I mean, sometimes teams just want to go in a younger direction. They think you have someone in the woodwork that can do the same, if not a similar job for a hell of a lot less money. Then you go for it. I mean, literally look at what the Patriots have done the last 5 years with cornerbacks. Once they get too expensive, they ship them out. And they got someone else to do their job. So
I was gonna say it's like what Shanahan does with quarterbacks, but that's not even true. He waits until they're expensive. Speaking of Marcus Mariota, after the turbulent ending to the season, he gets the axe. That's not shocking. So that signals to me. I mean, like some people are going to say that signals to them that Desmond Ritter's their dude going forward. Let's be honest, he wasn't that impressive. I think they're all or nothing in on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, at this point it just makes the most sense. I mean, not to like extrapolate this, but I mean, they did draft Michael Vick. And those comparisons are there all the time. So I mean, it would make sense if you're a franchise that was a front runner or the team that drafted the stereotypical like run and gun quarterback of the 2000s. I mean, it makes sense if you're going to go for someone that's exactly like him with a little bit less of a powerful arm. So.
Continuing on, my Browns cut John Johnson, cap casualty, a little bit older, wasn't living up to that payday. That's fine. Like we said, we thought that was going to happen, and it did.
Yeah, you said that last week, right? For the who did you say he was a possibility? The Bills or the Jets, maybe?
Jets
or the Dolphins? No, maybe the Patriots.
Yes, I think maybe just yes.
No, it was either the Dolphins or the Bills or because one of the teams, James, I don't remember.
Once the timer stops, you guys don't realize this. We stop. It's just brick walls. We're done.
Yeah, actually, there's just like a cord in the back of my head, and once it's unplugged, I just shut down.
Percy Butler coming up. This is about the Bobby McCain situation coming up. So easy to replace him. Also, we have a slot come up late whose name skips me. Goddamn.
That's
British education. Last notable cut is one that made Giants fans ecstatic. He had one touchdown and got paid way too much money. Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay was overpaid from the gun and ends up being overpaid and overrated and average. Not even average. No, fuck that. Not even average. Let's amend. Yeah, I never understood the payday for Kenny Galladay, and here we are. He's cut. He's a free agent. I hope no one gives him another huge salary. He'll probably get a prove-it deal, I would hope at this point. Who knows? Who knows what the NFL's thinking?
I don't know. I mean, he has the skills to be a good wide receiver. I just don't think that the right fit for him was the Jets. He did well for himself on the Lions. He did have Matthew Stafford, but I mean, he did well for himself on the Lions. He needs a quarterback that's actually going to throw him the ball. I mean, Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. I'm sorry, he's just not.
He's not worth that alleged price tag, which is a whole other debate. Which apparently is fuck $45 million. Apparently they are far apart in negotiations. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about fucking Danny Dimes' money.
Insane that is a thing.
So I figured out how to transition the last bit of news. So we're going to start off with one bit of news that's a little more funny. I don't even think it's actually that funny. I think it's just stupid. Tom Brady has delayed his Fox start so he can pursue stand-up comedy. And I genuinely think Tom Brady is one of the most dry human beings I've ever met. Kind of met. Long story. Anyway, I don't see the whole comedy thing. I don't see this Tom Brady did the social media blow up that his team did that inflate his head so much that now they think, yes, I am a stand-up comedian. They force-fed that. They foie that down his throat and made Tom Brady think he can be a stand-up comedian.
Well, I mean, first it was the movie 80 for Brady, which again haven't seen, have no intention of seeing. I watched the Super Bowl in person, and that is and will forever be one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life. However, I don't need to watch a movie about it. I'm sorry. I don't want to watch Jane Fonda's experience of being a geriatric patient wandering her way to a Super Bowl. I just don't want to see it. Nor does why are we making this about money? Whatever. Besides the point. He thinks he's a stand-up comedian because he spent 5 minutes in a TED 2 in TED 2 with Mark Wahlberg. That's why. Yeah. That is end of story. That will be the reason that I hold this. He thinks he is a comedian because he was in TED 2. and had 5 minutes of screen time where Mark Wahlberg and a magical teddy bear looked at his dick.
When you say it that way, it just comes on a little more just like cutting. Make Zack a comedian.
I could be. Could I though? Could I really?
You ever see that episode of Sunny where Sweet D just kind of stays on and just self-deprecate? I can't think of the word. Anyway, American
self-deprecating humor. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was right. Nailed it. I almost said defecate.
You don't want to self-defecate on stage. That's definitely not good.
Jesus, dog's just throwing bones around off screen. Whoa! Tie-in news: the James Magic here. The combine officially starts tomorrow. The underwear Olympics. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking serious, bro?
This is magical. We love this.
The combine starts tomorrow. The underwear Olympics. Everyone gives it flack every year, but you got to understand the biggest thing about the combine isn't the players doing stuff on the field. Fair, shut up. It's the deals that are getting done behind the scenes. Like this Lamar Jackson thing. If they the Ravens genuinely feel that they cannot get a deal done, it is getting done this weekend. Derek Carr is going somewhere this weekend. He is locking that deal in whether we know it or not. This is when deals get made. This is the unofficial start of the NFL season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. This is when you're, you can fully evaluate talent. And, I mean, it's going to be very interesting to watch and see. I mean, we obviously, I don't know if you had seen that news, but what's that?
I'm saying hi to people online, dude.
Oh, gotcha. My bad. Well, what I was saying is that the Raiders are officially out of the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes.
This is true.
I believe we posted that. So that's another angle we're looking at here as, where's Rodgers going to go now? Obviously, one of the spots that we're thinking of, like the Saints or the Jets, is going to be an option for him now. That they're content with moving forward with Jarrett Stidham as their de facto QB1 as of right now.
God, I hope not. I think the most interesting thing about this is one of these teams. If the I almost said Derek Carr, if the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes is actually a real thing, either the Jets or Saints will be behind the ball. So one of them is going to end up with Derek Carr, at least in my mind, right? Like one of those loses out on Aaron Rodgers and gets Derek Carr. I don't know which. I feel like it's a very Jets thing to go for Rodgers and get Carr, but
I know that's a good situation.
It's not like not last year, but it's not like it's an open market. I don't know. It's like you get one dude. One dude's the highlight dude this year, and he might not even be that dude. Right. So if he goes to your team, great. If not, he ends up retiring. You're fucked, and you got to deal with Derek Carr, who might be on the heavy decline.
Oh, Derek, he sucks.
we could talk about that one.
I'm sorry, I can't get over how mediocre he is.
Oh my God, dude, so many people joined in. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining in. We have comments saying Lamar is gone. I do agree. I think they're too far apart on money. I think it's gonna be real hard to keep Lamar in Baltimore.
Oh, it really is. I mean, they're talking about franchise tagging him, and so I don't know if we had spoken about this last week, but I was under the impression they did, but they didn't, right? They haven't done it yet. They're like threatening to do it almost, but
yeah, but I don't think the franchise tag does anything. I think they franchise tag him and they end up losing out. I think they honestly kill his value if they franchise tag him, because I think teams know he's going to hold out.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, that's the big thing with something like that is, you hold on to him, but there goes your relationship and your quarterback, and you still have to pay him. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, yeah, I agree with who said that? I'm sorry.
That was AJ John 316.
Oh, well, I agree with AJ John 316. Then Lamar is off the Ravens. Lamar is done. His time in Baltimore is over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Atlanta just seems like the most likely landing spot for him.
I love it.
It fits though. It just fits. It just fits. And again, it's that Michael Vick angle, but it fits.
I think that might be the short AB connection. I keep doing this a lot with my hands, but the short AB connection is we just want to see a Michael Vick replica in Atlanta with the Dirty Bird, with Kyle Pitts, with Drake London. Like we want that.
Exactly. And that's the thing. The Falcons haven't been good since 2016 when they had Matt Ryan and had that really crazy season, which obviously ended with the 28-3 Super Bowl, all that stuff. So, and I don't know. I feel like the Falcons are the franchise that I could say I really despise or dislike. Like,
I'm pretty neutral on the Falcons. I like.
What's that?
I like them. I like the jerseys more than anything. I don't really care.
I don't think I could ever say I've hated the Falcons. I know Drew feels otherwise. Obviously, with that conference championship, but yeah, I don't know. Just one of those teams I haven't hated, like the Lions. I never really hated the Lions or disliked them.
The Lions are in the pit of misery. Like as a Browns fan, we want to see them do.
Yeah.
Sure. All right, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Our boy pointed it out. UTSA headline: Go Roadrunners.
Sure.
Thoughts on the Jalen Carter situation? That's right, folks. Jalen Carter is on his way back to Athens, Georgia. He was recently not charged. What's the word? I don't know.
Subpoenaed, possibly. Was he subpoenaed to
somebody
court?
gave him a subpoenas? He was charged with some type of form of interfering with a police investigation and also racing and reckless driving connected to the January 15th incident that cost a teammate and a trainer or a staffer their lives. He is facing 2 misdemeanors for that.
Well, I guess the good thing is that they're misdemeanors. They're not felonies. I don't know what the full scope of it is going to end up being. He's being charged with them now. He hasn't been tried for them. They could drop them. They could change. It's a tough situation for sure.
Back into Athens with the expectation that they are getting dropped. His team put that out today that those charges are being dropped. That's what he believes.
Right. So, I feel like we just saw this happen, and this is not any sort of comparison of situation, but remember Willie McGinnis had this bar fight, and he was like, yeah, this is bogus. The charges are going to be dropped. And then a day later, he was like, yeah, I'm so sorry I did this. I accept the full responsibility, blah, blah. He just did a complete 180. Yeah, no, complete 180. It was bizarre. And so, these kinds of charges, it just seems like they're probably right, but at this point, he's a number one overall talent and could possibly go number one overall. It just feel like this is one of those like you said. This feels like one of those things that they're just going to drop.
It does, and it's super unfortunate. They should be held accountable at some point. And the most that's going to happen to him, and we're also talking about millions of dollars worth of a difference with this. It doesn't sound like a lot number wise. Once again, hands counter, that's at 10.
Yeah.
But he's looking at going from, like you said, a number one overall pick to top 10. He's still going to get a good payday, right, but it's not going to be number one overall money.
Right. Exactly. And that's just kind of the thing. We've seen it happen before with potential picks, and
which it happens almost every year. It feels like.
Right. Well, now we do. I feel now we do, but even in the past, we've seen it happen. I wouldn't say. I don't even know to this magnitude. I think the closest thing that we have to. No, not going to go there. But
I don't know where you were going to go, but I'm interested.
Yeah, Aaron.
Okay, yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, this is one of those things. I feel like the charges are going to get dropped, but there's going to be some sort of time of reckoning for that team and for what happened. So,
I wholeheartedly agree. I hope so. Honestly, I do like Jalen Carter as a talent, but you got to be held accountable for what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suck is the short of it. All right, Zach.
Yeah.
Draft day, darlings.
You got it. I literally just finished it, so we're good. Gucci.
Wow, look at that timing, dude. Look at that.
That was actually perfect. I just gotta download it and upload real quick, and then we're good to go.
All right, so I'll lead into it today. Draft day darlings. That is our top 5. Every week we do this. We've done wide receivers last week. Pretty much consensus opinion. I know we have some differing opinions on this one, but this week is quarterbacks, as you could have seen on Instagram, as you might see it, the title or captions or whatever. I think this. I mean, I know I can't even say think. It's not like a good bet. This one is very differing. The hard thing about the quarterback position this year, and like going forward, probably the next like 3 draft cycles, is you'll hit a cliff where people just start getting old for prospects. Like you hit that Hendon Hooker cliff where he's like 25, or like Stetson Bennett's going to be 26 during the season as a rookie, and it just gets complicated because of that extra year of COVID eligibility. It sets stuff back weirdly where like the cap used to be around like 24. Like you said, now you're seeing 25, 26. It's odd. It's a consequence of COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It is very interesting because a lot of the stats you've been seeing, like I think it was the Stetson Bennett one. You know, Stetson Bennett is going to be 26, and at around the same time, like Lamar has already won an MVP. Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls, 2 MVPs, all that. Like, and they're all the same age, pretty much. I mean, I think Patrick Mahomes might be a year or 2 older, but
I honestly think Lamar is the same age or younger. He might be slightly older than Stetson Bennett.
Yeah, but and he's not the only one in this draft though. Who else was I looking at? I forget. I was looking at this the other day, but
there's a guy Phil. Phil, always great to have you in the chat. Thank you so much for joining. Dude, there's a ton. It's not really limited. Most of these quarterbacks are on the older side anyway.
Oh yeah, big time.
So should we do it?
Yeah, let me yeah, I'm just gonna share the screen with everyone. I made a quick graphic. Just so we can have some fun and pictures and you can follow along and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to share my screen.
You don't get the pictures. Get dunked on. Get dunked on. Complain to Mark Zuckerberg that for some reason we can't split streams.
Okay. Well, so I guess it's not going to let me do that. I can share my what?
I fucking hate that I'm 28 now for total transparency. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, man, these dudes are old. Like Stetson Bennett's an old dude coming in. He's 26. He's still younger than me. He's still 2 years younger than me.
I'm 26, James.
You're
Yes, I'm 26.
Makes no sense.
My God. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. You got to think about it. You're best friends with Chris, who's a year younger than you, and I'm his younger cousin by a year.
I mean, I get the math. It doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, you have to like it. All right. Well, let me. I should just be able to do this, but I'm just going to share my screen really quickly. Don't mind that. All right, James, can you see this here?
I can see. Oh, Drewy.
What?
Hi, Drew. Welcome.
Oh my God. Geez.
I am very, very sorry.
It's all right, dude. Always happy to have you here. Zach's trying to figure out draft day darlings quarterback.
Can you guys see this?
It's a little small. We can make it work. Oh my God, you filled in pictures for everything too? My God, the production value here is fucking dollar menu at best.
But so you said it's small though?
It's large enough.
Okay, so it's too small. All right, well that's okay. That's fine. We'll figure it out.
Phil, I came back from the dead.
Yes, we are happy to have our Drew back. Did someone leave a window
Literally,
open?
I left like 17. Yeah, no kidding. I should just be able to do this.
Talk about that PhD.
Stupid.
So anyway, top 5 quarterbacks.
Figure it out.
Zach, are you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, well, I'm going to lead off then, I guess. I think.
Oh, you're telling me to lead off because
I don't know if you were ready at all. I'm just going to go.
Do it.
All right, fine. I think the no-brainer. I mean, so many people are going to be looking at his height and weight. It's Bryce Young. It's Bryce Young. The talent is there. it's so unfortunate that he looks like a toddler, but like lesser than Kyler Murray. Like I want to be infatuated with everything he does because he does everything so well. But it's the 5'10", air quotes, like 190 frame he's rocking that just scares the shit out of me. Still my number one. Still really talented. Still really concerned about injuries. But number one quarterback in this draft for me, Bryce Young.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go right back. Oh, go ahead, Drew.
Oh, Phil, you're not going to like what happens next. Anyway.
Drew, go ahead.
Oh, Drew? I'm second?
Sure.
Oh, you started talking.
Oh, I literally just said it's hard to argue with that.
Oh,
I would also place Bryce Young at number one.
Yeah, no, I mean,
all of the reasons listed above.
Just to jump back, jump on what James said. Like, again, like Drew said, it's hard to argue. You can't really overthink the size. I mean, we've seen quarterbacks of his size thrive in the NFL. So
as long as he's not super into Call of Duty, I think you're good.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a point. So I've seen a couple of people say that he's closer to 6 foot than he is 5'10".
Yeah, but dude, that's my thing. Is like if you see him,
so
next
what you're saying is he's 5'11".
No, he's not even that. The fucking taller 5. I don't know where that's coming from because he's like shorter than Stetson Bennett, who I think is 5'11", 5'10". Okay. And like side by side comparison, he is shorter. So I don't know. I mean,
right there.
Every dude on that Alabama line is gonna be in the NFL, without a doubt in my mind. So it's not like he can't make it work, but he just has to, like the Russell Wilson, like roll out. There's not a lot of like staying in the pocket that's gonna live and work for him.
That's true. That is very
good
true.
point. Good point. I think if I am.
Yeah, we'll do it the same way.
You got it.
Hey, all right, that works.
It's big enough. Anyways, yeah, I mean, so I just think it's really funny because I did the comparison. He is built exactly like JSN, James.
Is he really?
Yes, exactly.
That's not. I mean, I guess we've seen wide receivers be quarterbacks, but like that's not exactly comforting.
No, it's not. It's really not. But seeing what he's done with the football and knowing that he's built like one of the best wide receivers in college football and possibly moving into the NFL draft, is that really such a bad thing?
Was a wide receiver.
Ryan Tannehill.
Well,
Bryce Young's the next Ryan Tannehill, confirmed
just because he's built like a receiver, not even because he was one.
All right, so unanimous Bryce Young.
Yeah, agreed. And obviously looking at this, we have one other pick that is similar, James, but we do have some differences this week, and I invite the differences into our little group here. So my number 2 pick is actually going to be Will Levis. I just think that the game is moving towards mobility, ability to create when plays break down, and arm strength. I mean, look at Josh Allen. He's got all 3 of those. Right?
Yeah.
Guess who Will Levis is legitimately built like, James? Guess exactly who he's built like.
Josh Allen. Yeah, everyone said it.
He's built like motherfucking Josh Allen, dude. He had such a bad offensive line at Kentucky. His offensive line, and I have the stats for this because I want to point this out to you guys. His offensive line was absolute dookie. His line gave up 47 sacks in 13 games. 47 sacks in 13 games. That's over 3.5 sacks a game.
I know they were bad.
96th overall offensive line play in college football. 96th.
I know. I get that they were bad. I just can't. I want to buy in. There's so many. Like, once we get past my 2, it's James trying to convince himself to buy into tools. Because Will Levis has some of the best tools in the draft. He's got the build. He's got the, like, Josh Allen mobility is he's a thick white dude who can run. Like
Yeah, you gotta understand that Josh Allen
in.
came out of college exactly like Will Levis. He came out not as a refined passer. He came out as a big arm.
Mhm.
What?
He's agreeing with you.
No,
I just didn't hear him. Yeah, he came out as a big arm and he knew how to use his legs. I mean, Drew and I were literally on the hate Josh Allen train from day one. We told again from day one, we said that this type of quarterback is not going to do anything good in the league. And look what happened. I mean, sure, he can't get past the AFC Championship game, but he's still a Pro Bowl quarterback, and you can't refute that. So I see the comparisons there. I understand why he has the tools to be that kind of quarterback in the league. Josh Allen did end up on the Bills, and they built around him. If Will Levis ends up on, say, I don't know, like any franchise that is willing to actually build around him, not like the Jets or the Panthers or the Colts or whatever, then he's going to be fine.
That's the key. I feel like any guy coming out into the draft raw with just all the tools and talent in the world is entirely dependent on the team that they get drafted to and what that team's situation is and what they're willing to give that quarterback to work with.
Exactly.
So it's really hard to rank. It's really hard to rank players with just the tools or just the skills that aren't refined.
No, you're absolutely right. It is, and I think that seeing how the game is, you don't have to be as cerebral anymore. You don't have to be as refined of a passer because there are so many more restrictions on the defensive side of the ball that if you got a big arm, you just toss the ball down the field 60 yards and you're going to have a wide receiver open a good chunk of the time. Now it's a lot closer. Press coverage is a lot more, prevalent in the NFL, for sure. But yeah. But you have a big arm talent. He's not afraid to use his legs. There's just tendencies that he has to work out, and I think that if he gets on a franchise that is willing to work with him on those tendencies, then he's fine. He's got the tools to be a Pro Bowl quarterback. He does. And again, this is just ranking what I'm seeing here. Do I think he's worth a top 10 pick? No, because I think there are other players in the draft that are more valuable than Will Levis. But again, it's the quarterback position. It's inherently the most valuable position in football. So
here's my thing, and you kind of touched on it, is I feel like teams are so afraid to miss out on the next Josh Allen that these dudes like Will Levis and like Anthony Richardson are getting elevated, and not necessarily in a wrong way. I like both of them. I like what they bring to the table, not production-wise, but like we talked about, tool-wise. But I just feel like at some point that's going to hit a cap where, like, all right, well, let's stop elevating these fucking huge human beings. Also, by the way, Will Levis, semi-local kid from Connecticut. These random small whatever dudes.
Yeah, I mean,
whatever.
But you have to think about it like this, though. There's usually a trend, trends in the NFL that run like 20, 25 years. I mean, Josh Allen got drafted 6 years ago. We're still in that trend. So that you're still going to have quarterbacks that are like that. I mean, they're bigger bodies, they're built like tanks.
Let's be honest, that trend has been rolling. That's why, once again, these dudes, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, are up there. Trey Lance, another super toolsy quarterback who did not have a lot of production. Took a gamble, jumped up and got him. We still don't know if that's going to pay off.
Well,
it's
we don't.
Such a question mark with these dudes. But the payoff is so insanely good. That's the thing, is if you hit gold.
And I feel like that's the danger of a team that needs a quarterback now drafting a guy like Will Levis. It needs to be a team that's looking to the future, but has a plan in place for the immediate proceedings.
Mm-hmm.
They need time. They need TLC. It's just how it works if you want to get the payoff of someone like Josh Allen.
Joe coming back and saying Sam Howell is better than every quarterback in this draft. You're now on mute. I like Sam. I like Sam. We've talked about it. can't buy him into everybody over this draft. Anyway, let's keep it rolling though. So Drew, do you have to?
I agree with the sentiment of Will Levis. I just can't go on tools alone, given how much work has to be put in by the team. I agree with James's pick here. I like CJ Stroud second.
And it's so hard because he had such a down year.
He did.
And like so many people were ready to sell on him, and then he just went out against the best defense in the country and torched and just lit the world on fire. So now you got a dude who has good tools, has like solid production, but also has just a fat question mark of, I don't know what CJ Stroud I'm getting every fucking day. I don't know what CJ Stroud I'm getting every fucking snap. It's exciting.
It's true, but it does also, I feel like, put a point in his favor of going through a bad season already, or not bad, but a down season already, and being able to bounce back against a team of that caliber in that game. Like that shows that you got something. I don't know what it is, but you got something.
You got that it. You got the X factor in there.
Fat it.
All right. Well, I don't think there's much else we can say on CJ Stroud. He's got the good build. He's a big body. He's got a good arm. He can place the ball unbelievably well until pressure collapses on him, or you're from the state of Georgia. So, or I guess no.
I have my concerns with him, which I'll bring up when we get to number 4.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was actually gonna circle back. I'm so sorry.
No. That was my point. That was my point all along. Is I was just gonna wait until we got to number 4 to go ahead and issue my problems with CJ Stroud, and proclaim my fire take for this draft.
Drew, do you want to go with 3 first, or are you good?
Oh, yeah, I can go. Go ahead. I want to hear Zach's fire take.
Well, no, this wouldn't come until.
Yeah, you gotta wait. You gotta hold your breath the entire time.
You gotta savor it for a second. It's gotta marinate.
Gotta let that one marinate.
Let that one marinate. Number 3.
For number 3, Drew, are you going? Want me to get it?
I honestly have the same one, so it doesn't matter.
Right. Number 3, we consensus have Anthony Richardson. My favorite tidbit I saw, and this is from one of my favorite people on Twitter. I think he's the fullback king. I don't think that's a question, but David Miller, been on the podcast. He said his pro comp for Anthony Richardson at this point is just a lottery ticket. There's like people have tried to do the Cam Newton connection, but like you might not hit. There's a huge chance you will not hit with Anthony Richardson. He has one season of solid play with just wild inconsistency, but the highs are so high and the lows are so low. So there's like such a huge gap between his floor and ceiling. But man, if you can harness that and if you can get him to be like the Anthony Richardson that was promised, it's game over. You got an MVP. You got a perennial MVP candidate.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I feel like with Will Levis, another boomer bust pick, and I feel like you said, Anthony Richardson probably has the highest potential ceiling out of any of these quarterbacks.
Oh yeah.
However, if he hits a floor, it's through the goddamn floor.
Yeah, you're talking like a lower than Zach Wilson type of floor.
Yeah, lower than Zach Wilson's friend's mom.
Well,
nice.
Yes, but you're talking about Zach Wilson with an absolute fucking luger of an arm.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I think
the physical tools that man possesses are hard to overlook.
So let's talk about those physical tools, Drew. Let's talk about those. Okay, he is 6'4", 238 pounds. He's less than 10% body fat. Okay, that is something I put.
It's a lot of muscle.
That's a ridiculous amount of muscle. It is so hard to be less than 10% body fat, especially if you're an athlete like that and you have to bulk. That is ridiculous. He says he can run a 4.4 40 and throw the ball 75 yards down the field.
He absolutely can.
And I completely agree.
Those are not stretch statements.
No. And like, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Derek Carr is going to be a first-round ballot Hall of Famer if he went to the Jets. No, Anthony Richardson can definitely run a 4.4 40 and throw the ball 75 yards. I mean, that's just like,
But like, it goes back to my same thing as like, or sorry, not my thing. I just totally Columbus that. But the same thing we were talking about, that you need a team that's not ready to buy into a quarterback this year. And every team will go for him needs a quarterback right now.
Right. Well, I feel like that's the issue with a lot of the quarterbacks that are coming out of college is you're getting, I mean, I guess with the real exception of Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen took a couple of years.
Even Mahomes waited a year.
He did wait a year, but when he started playing, he made an immediate impact. Justin Herbert was probably one of the worst takes we've had on the show, not naming names. That's okay.
That's who's standing against.
Yeah, that was pretty rough. That was pretty bad. But I mean, you're not getting a lot of quarterbacks that are coming out like that and just being able to dominate. What?
Yeah, he also slept on Joe Burrow.
Okay, that's fair. I feel like, yeah, that's a good point. Joe Burrow did come out, but I don't know. Joe's daddy. You know that. So that's a whole different story.
Ain't nobody saying otherwise, let me tell you.
Yeah, there's no arguments against Joseph being daddy.
Oh, I mean, again, hardest picture ever is him with the cigar. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like you're getting a lot of quarterbacks now that just can't come out of the draft ready to play an NFL game. They need more time. I mean, the top three, I would even argue these top four quarterbacks, they're going to go to teams that are going to either try and make them play first game, or they're going to be playing at some point in the first season. I feel like we didn't see that with some of the quarterbacks that have played the last two seasons. Malik Willis didn't really play all that much his first season. He played a couple of games, I know.
Man, it was when he did, though.
It was really bad when he did, yeah. But then again, it's the type
weird as ugly.
Yeah, that's true. Desmond Ridder didn't really play all that much, right? He played maybe like one or two games.
I think like one start at the end of the year, maybe two starts.
Yeah, so I mean, you're getting a lot of these quarterbacks that are coming to the league and are not ready to play. The only one that I can remember from the last 3 years really is Mac Jones.
Was Mac Jones really ready to play?
Yeah.
I mean, he had a Pro Bowl season, Drew. I mean, again, Pro Bowl, but he had a Pro Bowl season. I mean, he went into a system that was technically still ready for a quarterback like that, and then decided to completely blow it up and go for a Shanahan-style West Coast offense, which, again, we're not going to get into because I'll blow a gasket, but yeah, I mean, but again, that's your example, is Mac Jones, the most NFL-ready prospect that we've had, I think, in the last 3 years.
Joe Burrow.
2 years, 2 drafts.
And I think that changes, obviously, bearing whatever happens in this college football season. There are two guys right at the top that are just like rearing and ready to go, but that's a further down the road discussion.
Yes. Anyways, you're getting off topic here because I want to tell you all why I think CJ Stroud's a sack.
I'll say, yeah, we all agree on Richardson. So tell us why you're not into CJ.
I don't know. I just have someone every year that I just what.
Man's like, I'm so ready to tell you about how CJ Stroud is not it. And you're like, so tell us about how CJ Stroud isn't it. Well, I don't know.
No, seriously though, I don't trust him as a prospect coming into the NFL. Like I said, he had one of the best offensive lines in football the last 2 years at Ohio State. He also had probably the best wide receiver core the last 2 years at Ohio State.
I
didn't look up the wide receiver numbers. I did look up the offensive line play.
What is it?
Ohio State ranked in the top 15 of offensive line play. It's the 7th least amount of sacks. A lot of those other teams were. It was like I know Georgia was there. Obviously, Georgia definitely was there. I believe like Southern Alabama University. Like it was a lot of like low schools. I think USC might have been up there too. But Georgia and Ohio State were the two biggest name schools that had that offensive line play. When looking at, how their season went and the CFP and all that. So he had Marvin Harrison Jr. That man was an animal.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about the weapons he's had at Ohio State. Let's be real. Marvin Harrison Jr. is just a contortionist in a wide receiver's body.
Right. And to my point here is that if he is not given Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jackson Smith and Jigba and the offensive line, there's no way he's going to be able to thrive in the NFL. He's not going to, there's not going to be a team ready for him with all those weapons in the slot that he's going to be picked at. Right. I don't see that happening. He needs top tier talent on pretty much in every facet to thrive. Yes, he played phenomenal against Georgia. That's great. But Marvin Harrison had like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
No, he was knocked out pretty early in that one.
Was he?
Maybe not very early, but I'll look up those stats for you, but
look up
keep going on here.
I know it was basically just him throwing to one person the entire time. That's my issue. I don't see that happening. He doesn't have the ability to go out and extend the play. A direct comparison between him and Bryce Young, like CJ Stroud is not going to look to extend the play like Bryce Young does. Even Will Levis can, obviously Anthony Richardson does. This is something that those top 3 quarterbacks have that he doesn't. Yes, he's a little more cerebral. Yes, what?
For the record, watch the other 2 try to extend a play and then watch CJ Stroud try to extend a play. I'll tell you, I feel way more comfortable with CJ Stroud trying to extend a play because goddamn, when Will Levis gets out of the pocket sometimes, that dude's brain just goes to shit.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about IQ-wise. I'm talking about athletic. I would trust Bryce Young, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson over CJ Stroud to pick me up a first down on a crucial third down if they have to run the ball. Or, if again, why I'm so high on Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson is their physical ability, because I think that teams are drafting more physically gifted quarterbacks and are able to coach them up versus getting someone like Mac Jones and trying to work on their throwing strength. They're working on certain throws that they can't do. That's hard to coach. The athletics are hard to coach. I mean, again, we had players like Tom Brady. We had players like, I don't even know. Drew Brees was like, what, 5'9"? So yeah, again, you had all shapes, all sizes, all types of power and throwing. It's a different league. I mean, you have to be able to extend the play. You have to be able to improvise. I just can't see CJ Stroud being able to keep up with that if he doesn't have a top 10 offensive line and the weapons that he needs. I just don't see it. Again, and this is directly correlated to where he's probably going to end up in the draft, which is the Colts, the Texans, none of those teams are equipped to provide him with what he needs. I mean, I don't even think who are the Texans starting wide receivers? Like, can you even name one? Because Brandon Cooks is
Collins, John Mechie, not Brandon Cooks, assuming.
Yeah, but that's if John Mechie is like okay and can play.
Yeah, if he's cancer free this year, yes.
Right, exactly, and that's a big if because that is such a wild card. So you have Nico Hollins.
Yeah, my guy.
Yeah, so. And the Texans' offensive line is actual Swiss cheese.
Bottom tier bad.
Like literally bottom 5. Again, that is why I have him so low, because I know that he needs or at least I don't know, but I predict that he will need these things in order to thrive in the NFL. He's not going to get them where he's going. So,
all right, hey, I like your points. I don't agree with your points, but that's fine. That's why we do this. That's why we discuss.
Normally, if that happens, you do not end up being a good quarterback in the NFL, especially if you're not given it within the first 3 years.
People wonder why Ohio State quarterbacks don't usually work out.
Yeah, they also tend to walk out in front of garbage trucks too. But
That's the first fucking like brain stopper was a Dwayne Haskins joke. Are you kidding me?
I guess so.
Anyway, moving on. Last quarterback.
Gotta say that came out of my mouth faster than I could shut it down.
Oh, did you agree with me? I forget.
Which one? The last one?
No, who we had at 4.
Oh, Drew, who was your 4?
I have Hendon Hooker at 4.
Okay. I think Drew's done. He can't speak after I just said that.
That man's dead.
I understand. I'm sorry. Like I said, it came out of my mouth faster than I could shut it down. And once it's out, it's out. I can't do anything about it.
Anyway, Hendon Hooker, man. Shame he tore his ACL. Get to that later. Circle back. My number 5. Oh my God! All right, Jesus Christ! Let's just keep it going here. Joe, rip the biggest bust in Washington history other than me when we signed Bieniemy.
All right, well, James, why don't you explain Jake Haener, because he is the only quarterback that is not that neither Drew or have on our board here.
Yeah, man.
Not my number 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you already did your number 5. That's my apologies.
No. Dude, Jake Haener, Fresno State quarterback. He has done everything right. He's on a little bit of a smaller side, bigger than Bryce Young. But he does everything right. And all throughout this draft process, he has proved every mark against him wrong. There was a mark about him not being able to have a big arm, like you couldn't really unleash. And I saw a clip today, randomly. I wrote this list. I went on TikTok and I saw a dude talking about it. I'm like, all right, well, I got to see what he's thinking about Jake Haener. No step, 55 yards, just straight step back, no step into it. Boom, 55 in air. Fine. No problem. In a weird frame, I'm about that. He broke Derek Carr's records at Fresno State. He is unbelievably talented, and he's just getting knocked, I think, for level of competition. It's very Bailey Zappi to me from last year, although Bailey Zappi I thought was a better prospect. It's a whole other thing. I've toured around with this 5 spot so many times this year. I've had Hendon Hooker there. I can't sell myself on a 25, 26-year-old coming off an ACL injury that relies on his mobility. I've toured around with Jaron Hall, who I think is just a great leader, but just plays so dumb sometimes. I've toyed around with Aiden O'Connell at one point, and I just can't sell myself on Aiden O'Connell. There's so many dudes, but fucking Jake Haener at 5. I'm not saying he's going a first round. I think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, and I think he's a good starting quarterback in the NFL. I don't think you're going to get this top tier dude. I don't think you're going to get this elite talent. Tanner McKee's another name I thought of, but that PFF has just blown him to the fucking moon. That's absurd.
Yeah, I kind of saw that rise.
Yeah, they are weirdly obsessed with him. He's fine. Jake Haener is fucking sex. My number 5.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, that makes sense. I did research Jake Haener a little bit and looked into his game. I just, what you said about Hendon Hooker is completely true. Can you trust a 25, 26-year-old quarterback coming into the league off an ACL tear? No, you really can't. But again, it's barring the injury, he's better than any other quarterback below him. Obviously, besides the 4 that we've already mentioned.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely understand.
Steep cliff after that, by the way.
What's that?
It's a pretty steep cliff after 4.
Oh yeah, no, big time. It's and I have that in my notes too. It's the top 4, and then there's a little bit of a pack in the middle, and then it's just a steep drop. And it's really interesting too, because you're seeing some names, at least from watching more college football, like Max Duggan and Stetson Bennett, that are probably both going to go undrafted, right? It's
Stetson probably won't, just because of the college football playoff title.
I understand that. I mean, if you want to get someone in there that is a little bit on the older side, that can kind of help with rookies and has that kind of championship pedigree, not that any team really needs a quarterback if you're playing at playoff time, but if you're a Titan or you're a Bill, you want some championship pedigree in your locker room. Winning 2 college championships back to back is definitely not a bad thing. So,
man, it's a good little resume bump
fire
there.
on him. But yeah, no, back to Hendon Hooker. I mean, the style of offense that Tennessee ran is very, very exclusive to them in, this vertical spread offense. I mean, it is not what the league is at all. So it would be very interesting to see kind of what style of offense he would be able to fit into, because again, this is more of a selection where I'm saying he's gonna get, if he gets put into the right situation, that's kind of the ceiling and where he's gonna be. So, I actually do give him a couple points for being older. I feel like the maturity level does kick in, especially if you're older. And I guess just sometimes if you're a little older, you can understand your place and your role more, and you want to learn more, become a student of the game again. And I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks in this draft, barring any crazy situation, are going to be on the bench learning. Maybe except for the top three. That's it. That's all I can see. So.
Here's the thing that concerns me about like Hendon Hooker, and we talked about this at the top of the show with like the COVID years, is you're going with a dude, you draft a dude who's 25, right? Fine. So say you do the first round price tag with him, which unlikely at this point, but you give him 4 years, depending on where he's drafted, and he's already looking at age 28, 29 by the time he's up for his rookie deal.
Right. It's tough. It's unprecedented because, just how it worked with college, and you could redshirt for an extra year, and there's extra years of eligibility and all that. So I mean, it is unprecedented. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen. I mean, we could see some of these older quarterbacks just not get drafted, and you could sign different kinds of you could sign different kinds of deals with them if they're undrafted rookie free agents, I believe, right? You don't have to give them like
they don't necessarily fit in the lines.
So I mean, we could absolutely see it. I mean, where Hendon Hooker is, a middle of the pack kind of guy. I mean, it would be interesting to see what teams are willing to give him as far as a contract, but there are teams out there that are absolutely going to take a flyer out on him. I mean, the quarterback play in this league, there's a good 6 or 7 that are just separated from the rest of the league, and that's it.
It's tough.
It is. I mean, especially where it's transitioned. It is a young quarterback league now. It is. And
it's such a shame. This would be a totally different story. We'd be talking about as like almost a early second round, late first round pick, especially with the Bucs in dire need. Like, he would have been right there if it wasn't for rupturing his ACL. We were all watching that together. Good God.
Yep.
It was disgusting.
Awesome. Yeah, I think those are our draft roundings. I know we have State of the Affairs coming for the NFC North.
Okay, who's Drew at?
I thought. Oh, I'm so sorry, Drew. My bad. Who's your 5? I thought he already said it.
No.
Will Levis.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not. I don't know. He's too much of a question mark. He really is. It's going to take the right team with the right approach at the right time. There's too much that has to go into it for him to
I just see it differently. As he had one of the worst offensive lines in college football. He is going to get an upgrade pretty much at any point in the NFL.
Right, which
I would say maybe besides the Texans because of how morbid.
I don't love. I don't know. Like I said, it's such a question mark. There's every single decision that's made by the team that drafts him from draft day until they trade him or he realizes his potential is crucial.
Yeah, no, I know. I agree. I agree.
He's not going to learn anything sitting on the sidelines. He's not. It's going to take a very specific approach. I don't know what that approach is, but it is. And he also drinks coffee with mayonnaise in it.
Yeah, so. I know he does.
It's enough to drop him there.
Oh, it's so bad.
Easy
I completely forgot about that.
Almost knocked him out of my top 5.
Yeah, no, I understand if you want.
Ever seen how he eats bananas?
No.
Oh, peel and all, dude. That's not even a joke.
All right, can I change?
Yeah, look it up. It was like the first thing before the Mayo.
Hold on. We're gonna pause the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna go change my graphic. I'm just gonna set Will Levis on fire really quickly, and I'll be back. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, that's terrible. Who eats the banana peel? That's no. But anyways,
psychopaths.
Those are our QB draft darlings for this upcoming NFL draft. We are going to transition over into our state of the affairs.
And I think it's only. Oh God, I'm big again. I think it's only right that we lead off with Drusif's Pekiers.
Only affair.
Hey Zach.
What's up?
Hey Zach.
Hey. Oh no! I tapped the wrong.
So close.
I tapped the wrong.
All right, so Drew, while Zach's getting that reset and started,
didn't even see it. Didn't happen.
One of the biggest question marks of the offseason so far is what happens with Aaron Rodgers. You guys are looking at
that's been the biggest question mark of the last 4 off seasons.
This is fair. It's like a perennial thing. It's like the 2 marks of the offseason. We talked about it, like I think last episode, Zach, is every wide receiver that could be connected to the Patriots is connected to the Patriots, and Aaron Rodgers, where is he going? What is he going to do?
Yeah.
So I think that's arguably the biggest question facing you guys. But I mean, like notably for like free agents, you're looking at Adrian Amos, Mason Crosby. God, I forgot. He's old as hell. Alan Lazard, Robbie Tunyon, Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins, Elgton Jenkins. I always fuck that one up, and Keyshawn Nixon.
Yeah.
You're looking at a lot to do with only $3 million in cap.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, they opened up a bunch of cap space actually recently.
Okay.
Restructuring Jair and Preston Smith.
Oh, good to know. Okay, those numbers must not have been the most updated numbers. My apologies.
Yeah, I think they opened up
number crunchers out there.
Upwards of $10 million, I believe.
I mean, that's better, but you ain't
it's
getting
not. No, I'm not saying that they have all the fucking money in the world. I'm saying that they don't have like 9 cents in a ham sandwich,
which also has been the scenario the past few seasons as well.
Yeah, they find a way. I'm not super worried about that.
So here's my question, Drew. So if Aaron Rodgers goes elsewhere, that cap space opens up as well, right?
Depending on how it happens, yeah.
Ideally, that cap space goes
right. Ideally, you're not losing Aaron Rodgers and eating his cap hit.
But again, that's the reason why I asked, because if you know, I want to know what situation what would be the worst case scenario for Aaron Rodgers leaving? And
yeah, like what's the ceiling percentage point of that contract where you're like, we fucking lost?
It's a big old contract. I think if you have to eat anything over half of what's remaining on that contract, you're fucked. that is just the fattest L you can possibly take in the management of your Hall of Fame quarterback at the end of his career.
So then, like, let's play hypotheticals here. So Aaron Rodgers retires. Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back. What's the contingency plan? Like, what is your best case scenario to move forward? Do you go with Jordan Love?
I don't think there's a choice. I don't think that you draft Jordan Love, waste a first-round draft pick, just to have him sit on the bench for 3 years and then do something else. So that wouldn't make any sense.
It really doesn't.
He's learned enough. He needs a shot. If Rodgers isn't there, I can't conceive of them doing anything but giving Jordan Love a shot. He knows the system better than any other quarterback that would come in. He's been there for 3 years at this point. That's how long Rodgers sat on the bench behind Favre. The Packers know how this goes. I don't know why they played it this way, but here we are again. And he is still such a question mark. There are so many things about his game that I look at and go, wow, he could be a good quarterback. But then there's so many other things that you just go, nope, not a fucking chance. So I don't know. If Rodgers does not come back, quarterback in Green Bay is going to be a shit show. And it is not helped at all by the fact that our receiving core are a bunch of infant babies.
Christian Watson.
So, Christian Watson is an infant baby.
Yeah, but he's a good infant baby.
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Sometimes he runs the wrong routes. Sometimes he drops wide open passes.
Yeah, no, okay,
Sometimes.
fair enough. Remember when Romeo Dobbs was good for like 3 games, Drew?
Yeah, then he got really hurt for like 8 games.
Oh, yeah, good point. Fair enough. All right,
Fuck
well,
you.
pick your brain here. I'm going to ask you some hot button questions, Drew. Top 3 free agent signings you'd like to see from the Packers, if the cap obviously wasn't an issue. Well, actually, I would say assume Aaron Rodgers walks and you have his cap money back. Who are you signing? Who's your top 3?
Prioritize Derek Carr, $100 million.
Yep. And then Keyshawn Nixon signed to a 3-year, $75 million deal. Agreed.
All right.
And then,
Keyshawn Nixon is in my top 3. 100%.
Oh,
They need to bring Keyshawn Nixon back. He changed the special teams in Green Bay.
he's
Single-handedly. He is absolutely electric.
No,
That
that's not
kickoff return against Minnesota was fucking phenomenal. No, he is the guy. He's proven
He's
that
him.
like you haven't had a return man like that in how fucking long? I mean, come on.
Don't
Desmond
you
Howard.
dare speak his name.
Desmond Howard. Yeah, it happens. So yeah, honestly, Keyshawn Nixon might be number 1 or 2. I think bringing Adrian Amos back is big. He is such a leader of that defense, and
Oh yeah, agree.
The defense was basically built around him when they brought those guys in, other than Za'Darius, who's we're not going to talk about.
I mean, we will.
Everybody hurts.
All right, look,
sometimes.
it was rough. It was. I'm not happy with how that all shook out for many.
I feel like he's having like an anime moment. The gaze goes down, the lights turn off. Just a single tear drops down his face.
Yep. Yeah. No, that was brutal. Trying to think of who I'd like to see them bring in from outside.
Kenny Galladay.
No. Hard, fat, no. I think Jacoby Myers would be fun, honestly.
Oh, don't do it, Drew. Don't do it yourself.
Go get Jacoby.
Okay. Who do you not want to sign this offseason? If again, obviously Kenny Galladay is most likely one of them, but give me 2 other free agents you do not want the Packers to sign.
I really don't want them to go down the Derek Carr road. That would make me very upset.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I also really don't want to see them take on a big name receiver that has issues. Now,
Okay. So like
I realize that
OBJ, a DeAndre Hopkins,
an OBJ, a DeAndre Hopkins, a who else? Michael Thomas. Any of the names that you look at and go, wow, it'd be fucking awesome to have him on the team. But especially in an Aaron Rodgers-less world.
right?
If you have Aaron Rodgers and bring in an OBJ or bring in, someone like that, you got a chance because they're playing for Aaron Rodgers. When you got a brand new starting quarterback that has never had a team under his belt, bringing in a guy like that could really mess up some chemistry. So I'd like to see them play it safe if they're going to go the Jordan Love route, which I think is the obvious route to go if Rodgers doesn't come.
I have one final question for you, Drew.
I'm ready for it.
Who's the most maybe free agent sign? No.
Maybe get Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider the thought of Aaron Rodgers going to the Dolphins?
That's a weird thought. What do you mean consider? I don't have any say.
Okay, so I guess I'll rephrase that. Could you ever see him going to a team like the Dolphins?
I mean, it's incredibly hard to picture him going anywhere else.
Right, but I mean, like we've already made the Jets comparison. Like the Jets are drawing him, Aaron Rodgers. But again, that connection's there from Brett Favre. I just like my thought process behind it is you have a really good offense down in Miami. You're really not sure about Tua. You have the workings of a good defense, and you're going into a division where the quarterback play is dog shit, besides Josh Allen, obviously. But
right.
Imagine.
I think it's
the more you and again, I thought about it all day. The more you think about it, the more it kind of makes sense.
I was gonna say I think it is absolutely one of the more logical places for him to go if Miami can afford it at this point.
And for some reason, I can just like picture him in the white and baby blue, orange, whatever other
teal, that's okay.
Whatever, I don't fucking care. They're awful colors, but
it's Miami.
Well, but think about it. Like he just went on a 4-day darkness retreat. If that doesn't scream Miami cocaine fueled nightmare, then I don't know.
Nothing about that. Miami.
Fuck is going and sitting in a dark room for 4 days and doing a mountain of cocaine.
That's called depression.
What? No, bad call.
I don't go to Miami, Zach.
He's going to
It's
Miami.
the most loud, bright city I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Yup. Miami's something.
Yeah,
it is not. It's not.
He fits. I don't care. I don't care what you guys say. He fits.
Anyway,
I don't know.
That was atrocious.
I look, lifestyle choices aside.
Yeah, team wise, I think he's a good fit for that team.
I think they would be a very good fit.
The whole situation with the coach. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I don't know, I could just see him and Mike McDaniels being such a weird.
That would be the funniest quarterback fucking head coach. Oh, wow. Well. It would still be the funniest quarterback.
I have a comment. I'm gonna put it in a private chat for you guys, and then I really don't.
Yeah, Zach, I don't think you're allowed to make any more dark comments. I think we'll get kicked off the live.
I think Mike McDaniel and Aaron Rodgers would just do so many drugs before games together.
That'd be sick.
That would be so fun. Instant Miami Dolphins fan.
Let me check the chat.
All right, so Drew, my question as the draft guy.
The draft guy.
It's like what position would you want them to target in the first round? Because I mean, there's tight ends a possibility. Michael Mayer's right there. I think he would be a phenomenal fit. But once again, you have to get him a quarterback. Wide receivers right there. You can go and get one. Safety's an option. Brian Branch is around.
Johnson, right? Johnston.
Oh God, Quentin Johnson.
I've seen Quentin Johnson going there in a lot of mock drafts. Just what I've seen. What I've seen.
So, like, ideal world, like, what would be that first pick?
I need to see a middle linebacker prioritized. It's been many, many years since they have prioritized that position. I just don't see any other course unless you want to go tight end. I think would be the other backup choice because if you're going with Jordan Love, give him as many weapons in as many places as you possibly can.
I'm telling I love Michael Mayer to the Packers. That gets me excited. There's like certain fits that happen. I'm like,
yeah, I do like that too. I do. And with Mercedes Lewis being gone, I think he retired. If not, he's gonna.
He should. At this fucking point, why?
And I know. And don't get me wrong, I love Bobby Tunyon, but he's got glass bones and paper skin. Josiah DeGuara's fine. Fine. But yeah, I would like to see a reliable, consistent downfield tight end or someone that can complement Devondre Campbell and step in when needed because Devondre Campbell's getting up there too. Injuries are starting to creep in. And it would be a good situation for a young linebacker, I think, to be surrounded by a lot of top-tier talent at a lot of defensive positions, and to have Devondre Campbell directly there to learn from.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not a first round. I mean, it could be theoretically, but man, keep your eyes on Jack Campbell out of Iowa. Jack Campbell's a fucking linebacking machine.
Into it.
Good to know.
Give me all the backing of my line.
Well,
anyway,
my line's very front heavy.
I was gonna say, well, I feel like we've filled our Packers need to our heart's content. We got 3 more teams in the NFC North, which we're probably not going to cover as much in detail as we did with the Packers, as obvious fanboy.
That's why we do.
I can talk about any NFC North team for as long as you want.
Oh no, I know, but we're getting up there in minutes, so
it
I want
is an hour and 15 minutes.
It is
this
correct.
So, you go.
No, I was just gonna say. So I was gonna say, just whatever team we want to go for next. I mean, obviously,
I want to talk about Detroit.
Okay,
I was gonna say Detroit's a good jump point.
Yep,
a lot going on.
Let's go, Detroit Lions.
So Detroit, obviously, we saw the late season emergence. The offense started to kind of get this weird flow to them. The defense had their holes, but man, they have some really bright spots there for the future. Notably at the deadline, getting rid of T.J. Hawkinson. So tight end is going to be a gap for them. Quarterback is a question mark gap for them. Cornerback is a big-time need for them.
Hold on, though. We can't just say that they got rid of T.J. Hawkinson. We have to mention the fact that they let him go to a team that they play twice a year.
This is also fair. This is also true.
Come on, Detroit.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Actually, funny enough, Drew and I were just talking about this guy. Alex Anzalone is going to be a free agent. Mike Hughes is a free agent. DJ Chark came in on a prove-it deal and proved that he was not very valuable there. And Jamal Williams, after a monster contract year, is a free agent. First question, where in the NFC North does Jamal Williams end up?
Back in Detroit if they're smart.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't bring him back. But they've got $30 million to play around with. I think they're going to attack the draft. I mean, I think most notably that stat just came out today. I forget who they cut, but now their whole team is under 30. Like their average age is around like 26. They're a young team, and they're looking good.
Is their whole team under 30, or is their average age just 26? Because if their whole team's under
30,
no,
I don't think they have a player above the age of 30. I don't think they have a player above the age of 30.
Insane.
I'll confirm that right now, but you guys talk about
that is really crazy. Yeah, I mean, their biggest needs, I feel like for the past literally, I don't know, 10 years has been corner. I mean, that's something that they have to address in this draft. But that's insane. They have to address it right, because Jeff Okudah, not the solution. That dude played. I think he played well this season for a little bit, but he's just not.
He's hurt all the time. He's hurt.
Yeah, it's not. Again, it's not the solution. Not to say he's not good, but
no, I know. Bet they really miss Darius Slay.
Yeah, no kidding.
I kind of forgot about that, to be honest. For some reason, my brain just goes instantly to Darius Slay as an Eagle.
Yeah. Crazy how that fucking happened, huh?
I know, but I mean, one of their needs obviously being a QB to work with in the future, unless Jared Goff comes back.
Yeah. Jared Goff's the guy for the next 10 years.
Yeah, Jared Goff.
Drew's best case scenario in the Packers is Jared Goff is the guy for the next 10 years.
Yep.
Lock him into a high money deal this offseason.
Please, God, Detroit, please. I'm scared of you now. I don't like that.
I do. We'll talk about this a couple more times as we go on, but I really do expect all these like mid quarterbacks to come back down to earth. Like I don't see the Geno Smith thing working out next year.
God no.
Jared Goff has always been fine, but I think that's going to come back down to earth. My brain can't fathom them being solid starters in the NFL. I think that's my issue.
Yeah, I mean, fair, especially Geno Smith. That one is crazy. I love that he got another chance, but To hear the name Geno Smith associated with good quarterback play is a little crazy.
All right, let me apologize real quick. I literally started talking about that. Like, I was like, I don't think Geno Smith's going to be like as good next year. Little fucking number pops up here, and it's my friend Braden from No Ball Sports, noted Seahawks fan.
Well, I mean,
Sorry.
if we got Seahawks fans behind him, then give him another go.
That's all you need. Hey, as long as you have the fan base, you're good. Mm-hmm. You got it.
It's true. That's very, very true.
All right.
So, Lions, right? We're talking about the same situation. I don't think we need to touch too much on them. I don't think we need to touch too much on them as a whole. I think they're in a really good direction and they have the right trajectory. I don't know a person who doesn't love Dan Campbell as a coach. What would you like to see them attack? Because they're looking at the top too. They're right there. Do you think they should go for one of those top edge rushers? Jalen Carter might be at that position now.
I would
imagine Aiden Hutchinson out there across from another top tier edge rusher. That would be
that's terrifying.
I mean, I think that would be scary. I think the thought of Jalen Carter in there is also horrifying, but I mean, so is the thought of him behind the wheel. Boom, now on the board, baby. Anyway, I could also see them. I could see them going for a cornerback. I could see them jumping up and getting a Witherspoon or a Gonzalez and trying to gamble again on a top cornerback. But I think they're in that Patriots realm where they're so scarred by Jeff Okudah. I don't know if they'll do it.
I think so too. Especially not as high as they are.
Mid round flyers.
Yeah, I mean, you're at least investing less capital when they don't pan out.
True.
Detroit's never been a defensive team. I don't really see that changing all that much, especially after last year. I mean, towards the end of the year, the defense started figuring things out.
Yeah.
But for most of the year, they were a fucking train wreck. So I that's where their focus needs to be. The offense will absolutely carry itself, probably almost certainly not to the degree that it did last year, but they have all of the tools and possibilities and potential to continue to be a very good offensive team. Give a little TLC to the defense, and you're talking a scary Detroit team. I don't like that.
True.
I don't like that.
Especially with the division in flux.
Fuck you.
I was gonna say they're in a position they can.
I'm not here to attack you, Drew. Just
I know. Still fuck you.
I know. Sorry. I might have went into a darkness retreat and came out a fucking moron.
I'm gonna say we move on. I'm gonna say we stop talking about them because we already enough of that.
Sorry, Randy went in a moron and came out.
No, he didn't. What about this man just trying to live his fucking life is triggering people so bad?
I don't know. Maybe it's the ayahuasca. Anyways, James.
Why does that trigger people?
So anyway, the team that they traded TJ Hawkinson to in the division, the Vikings, perpetually almost there. Perpetually just
mid team of all time.
I just think it's really funny because we could legitimately compare the Vikings. They are the Kirk Cousin of the NFL, and they also happen to have Kirk Cousins on the team.
Correct. That's so true.
Kirk.
Am I wrong though? Like,
no.
Right? You see what I'm saying?
That is 100% accurate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So, free agents, they're looking at Patrick Peterson aging out of any type of role. Garrett Bradbury, Dalvin Tomlinson, Alexander Madison, the fantasy handcuff. And it's never going to be Irv Smith Jr. season.
No, it's not. It's not in Minnesota. It's not.
Nowhere.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. I knew you'd be here for that kind of humor. They are in cap space hell too. I mean, not really as bad as most teams, but I mean, they're looking at a lot of restructuring they're going to have to do, especially looking forward where Justin Jefferson's going to be trying to get paid within the next year. Holy shit. Next year's the year. They got to pay up.
Yeah. He ain't coming back.
The piper.
If he's smart. So looking at that, they could also use to add a wide receiver piece to this core. Safety's a need. Let's be honest, their whole DB core is a need. Defensive end, edge rushers, outside linebackers, need.
Yep.
Man, I don't even know where to start with this team. I feel like they've done so many things well, but dude, I feel like they've done so much more bad. I feel like every step forward they take, they're that team that's taking 2 steps back to dig themselves in a deeper hole.
Mm-hmm.
A team that has enough talent that should be able to take that step and be a playoff team, that's just not going to make it there.
It really seems like it doesn't matter what they do or what they try to throw at the problem. It just always creates another problem somewhere on the team that is bad enough to hold them back from, like you said, taking that next step and actually winning some playoff games.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't have much to say about this team, honestly. I mean, again, they are the Kirk Cousins of the NFL and just so happen to have Kirk Cousins on their team.
I mean, so inconsistent.
One step forward, 2 steps back. They are in the negative in cap space. They're eventually going to get out of that. Obviously, they have to be before the year's up. I know we're going to get into some teams that are like 65, 70 million.
Oh, we're about to get into the whale. We're about to get into
right?
the boy.
The Saints, right?
Never mind. I thought we were talking about the Bears being positive. Yes, the Saints.
No. The Bears are positive. Yeah. I'm talking about negative cap space.
Yes, the Saints.
The Saints. But
yeah, it always seems to be.
Yeah. But I mean, going from the legit bottom of cap space to pretty much the highest cap space I think I've ever seen in almost $130 million, the Chicago Bears. They got a lot of money to work with, and they have a young quarterback in Jay Fields. They got to throw some talent at him. They got to do it. They want him to.
I disagree. They need to go get as many offensive linemen as $130 million can buy and figure out how many they can put on the field at once.
Yeah, but I include offensive line and talent, though. I wasn't just saying wide receivers and tight ends, running backs.
When they put talent around somebody, I automatically think skill position.
Fair enough, I guess. That's fair. I should have specified. But definitely the offensive line needs to be bolstered for sure.
I think I'm in Drew's camp for a couple things. Like when I hear talent, I'm thinking weapons. But like they need to win in the trenches. On both sides, they need to win in the trenches.
Imagine what Justin Fields is going to be able to do with his legs if he has a clean pocket sometimes and actually can be a threat in the pocket. And if he's got room to fucking move and doesn't have to thread through 11 guys every time he tries to run the ball.
Yeah, you mean like what they're able to do in Baltimore with Lamar Jackson?
Precisely.
Put a good line in front of him?
Precisely what they did with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore.
So looking at it, we already talked about it. Trenches are a need for both sides of the ball. Wide receiver is also a major need. Let's not ignore that. They drafted a wide receiver that was older than Justin Fields. Weird.
What are you talking about?
Also,
they have the man that met the legend himself, who even though was a free agent, they're going to resign, N'Keal Harry. James?
N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal should be a tight end. Harry, Equiminius St. Brown hitting the free agent market. Riley Reef, Dante Pettit, and David Montgomery also hitting free agency. That one I'm not so sure on. I don't know if they're going to try to keep him in. I don't know if they should. I'd be fine if I was a Bears fan letting him walk. I don't want any of that 122 million getting devoted to David Montgomery. But
another place where I think Devin Singletary could end up if they let David Montgomery walk is Chicago.
Take a shot for every time Zack says Devin Singletary is going to end up in a team.
Twice. It's literally happened twice. If I had a nickel for every time I said Devin Singletary is going to end up in a place, I'd have 2 nickels. It's very specific. But
my thoughts on Chicago's running back situation. I think it is another problem that they can solve by just throwing all of their money at their offensive line.
Also true.
Also fair.
If you can get a half decent running back cheap and a good offensive line, that is so much more valuable than an elite running back with a bad offensive line.
Oh, fuck. I know what I want them to do. I want them to draft. We're going to talk about him at some point. I want them to draft Deuce Vaughn, who's like an undersized dude. He's great special teams, fucking speedy. He's a fun fucking running back, but he's like 5'6", and that's not an exaggeration. I wanted them to draft him and be the new Tariq Cohen. That's the short AB brain that I want.
So
I just don't see they never utilized Tariq Cohen in the way that they
was
should
a
have.
damn shame.
It's a new turn.
Isn't he still on the
Deuce.
Bears?
No,
it is.
I think he's retired at this point.
Probably. I mean, at that point, whatever. Here goes Mr. Find It. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what they plan to do. I mean, you would think that they would be smart and do smart things, but this is the Chicago Bears we're talking about, Drew.
Correct.
Free agent.
Yeah. So I don't know, but cool. Well, NFC.
He was on the Bears until just under a year ago. So.
Oh well.
Because when he posted that video of him trying to recover and he ruptured his Achilles.
Oh no, the sad boy.
Oh my god.
Gosh.
Well, guys, I think this is our part of the show. We say the final words. Anybody got some final thoughts from NFC North and our quarterbacks here from the draft?
I was gonna let someone else go first, but
that's super awkward. Fine. Anthony Richardson. Tank. Literally a freak of athletic specimen.
he's
insane.
Truth.
I mean, even if you don't want to use him as a quarterback, he could be any other position on the field and you would be fine. He could, hell, you would probably even have him better off as a kicker than your kicker on the team. Like that is, he could play anywhere. I don't care.
Stay tuned for when Madden 24 comes out and we test Anthony Richardson out as our kicker for a whole season.
He's gonna go 30 for 30. Guaranteed.
I think this draft class is a lot like the last draft class. We're going to talk about it more as we go on, but it's a lot of gambling on yourself and your ability as a team to develop these people, and not as much so like this dude's going to be a day one like star. You have very, very few blue chip prospects in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people who are going to go in the first round. It doesn't mean necessarily they're blue chip prospects.
There
Those
is
guys
actually
are
32 people that are going to go in the first round. Fun fact.
Fuck you. No, there's not. No, there's not, because Miami doesn't have a first round pick. It's 31. Get fucked.
Dumbass Dolphin.
Anyway, love you, Drew. I think without fully thinking, there's like 5 blue chip prospects, I would say, that are like the dudes. And like everyone else is just like gamble on yourself. And if you think you can fucking develop these people, go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. I think like I mentioned before, there's a lot less NFL ready talent or NFL ready prospects coming out of the draft in college football than there have been in the past 5 or 6 years. So
it's unfortunate.
It is, because we have to sit and watch Derek Carr be a Jet or whatever.
It really does hurt that teams have a much harder time now looking to the draft to fill immediate needs.
Yeah.
Good for James.
I mean, hey, college football is electric. It's a fun factory. I mean, I remember the days of what's his face from Hawaii when James thought he was going to come in and take over the Titans.
Cole McDonald.
Cole McDonald, yeah,
XFL legend.
He probably does have a farm now.
No, he's on the XFL. He's on Houston? To Wikipedia.
All right, well, you find out. I'll sign us off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching Garbage Time with Boda Sports. As always, he was right. Wow, big brain time for James. As always, you know where to find us. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, pretty much anywhere you can listen to a podcast and or music. We are there. We're in your ears, like Drew says all the time. Earworm, peace sign. For Drew, for James, I am Zack. Love you guys. Stay soggy.
Beautiful.
Bye.
It's so good to have that back.
I know. We haven't heard that in a while. That was good.
Yay.